Managing mobility was the topic of Debate 5, chaired by Infonetics co-founder Michael Howard. Each panel member then made a brief pitch as to their company's offering with respect to mobility.
So we're here because obviously BYOD is critical and it's extending onto laptops and onto peripherals and lots of different elements. And we see a true convergence, especially as I think about the next generation of apps and the business to employee and the business to everyone apps that are really coming, and that's driving more of the BYOD or bring your own laptop infrastructure. So part of the integration and part of the reason that we're together now with VMware is the synergy, because it's moving to desktops and PCs and Macs and 8.1 and beyond. So we really see a synergy between laptops, smartphones, tablets, and in the very near future, wearables and everything else. So I think there's a lot of excitement coming forward.
Yep, so specifically on the HP, Dom just mentioned on the previous panel that one of the 4 megatrends that's going on is mobility. So clearly, even broader, my focus is HP networking, but even broader, HP is heavily focused in the mobility space, and that covers a lot of different areas. And in the networking area, we're heavily involved in the BYOX solutions.
Yes, as you know, we are getting more and more wireless devices coming into enterprise, and the primary mode of connection for any mobile device, or Internet of Everything, as people are saying, even the kettles can chat now. So more and more infrastructure needed to support these devices, and more importantly, people are looking for greater intelligence. How do I define policies and enforce those policies and control the influx of these devices into the network?
At MobileIron, we are according to Gartner, the largest leader in independent leader in enterprise mobility management. And the reason why we're interested in BYOD is we think it's one of the main use cases of something much bigger, which is basically the world is going mobile first. Enterprises the world over are embracing mobility as the primary platform for their employees and their customers.
Howard then asked the panel what challenges they saw in the BYOD phenomenon.
On the IT side, I think certainly it's creating challenges, but it's also creating opportunities. And the companies that we've seen that have adopted the foundational elements over the last couple of years, meaning they've invested in their wireless infrastructure, they've invested in perhaps certificate infrastructure, and some of the foundational elements are in a much better position now to be able to offer BYOD and integrate it into the infrastructure.
For a user, if you give the user an easy way to get on to the corporate network with their own personal device, they're going to follow it. If you make it difficult and it's not a simple process, they're just going to find ways around it. So I think one of the key things is simplifying it for the user, but also from an IT management perspective, providing those tools to be able to manage the infrastructure.
I think we started seeing a shift after the iPad came on the market. So the Christmas after iPad came, we started getting calls, hey, now I suddenly have budget to deploy everywhere. When the CEO brings that iPad to work, he wants coverage. And the budgets started appearing. And pretty soon after that, it's been nonstop, because we went from coverage, and the next issue was no longer coverage. Do I have the capacity to support all the devices I have? And enterprises then started looking at shifting budgets from wired to wireless, because if they do the port utilization on the wired network, they find many of the wired ports are no longer being used. So today the challenge is, the next step was, how do I onboard these devices? They're no longer one-off requests from the executive management. I have every employee bringing them. So that's the problem we were asked to solve, and some of our colleagues are solving on that. How do you onboard the devices?
The big dilemma that companies face with BYOD was highlighted by Vittorio Viarengo of MobileIron.
And so I think right now companies are on a journey. The early state of journey is like, holy crap, what do I do about all these devices coming in? How do I secure them? And how do I provide them with the simplest business process, which is email? But the innovative companies are looking at how am I going to kick my competitors' butt by giving my employees and my customers the ability to carry out that business process through an application on a mobile device. And I think there will be a lot of winners out there in the market that will see this as an opportunity.
Howard then asked if there was a role for SDN in managing BYOD. Most vendors, apart from HP, didn't see much of a role right now, but at HP, it plays a part in securing the wireless network.
So we have developed an SDN application that allows basically leveraging OpenFlow and leveraging SDN allows us to leverage our tipping point RepDV database, which is basically gives us IPS IDS type functionality right at the mobile device and allows us to be able to check DNS queries and see what websites people are going to, and if it's a site that's in our database that's out in the cloud, but our cloud database of all these bad sites, we will block it before it happens. So this
Wait, let me translate.
After a handful of questions from the floor, Howard wrapped the debate.